All right, strap yourselves in, because today we are going deep into a truly legendary conspiracy theory,
Oh, yeah.
the Philadelphia experiment.
You know what?
The one where a Navy destroyer just vanishes.
Into thin air.
Yeah, maybe even teleported.
That's the one.
It's a story that just won't die.
And for good reason.
It's got everything
All the elements
of a classic conspiracy thriller,
World War II.
top secret government projects,
Cutting-edge tech.
and just a hint of the paranormal.
That little sprinkle.
Now, you're probably familiar with the basics,
The broad scripts.
but trust me, the good stuff is in the details.
That's where the real fun is.
And today, we're going to dig into those details
Unpack them all.
and see what we can make of them.
Exactly.
So what makes this deep dive so intriguing?
Well, we're not here to debunk the story.
We're not here to endorse it
We're
either,
just going to examine the claims,
The evidence
and historical context.
that have kept this theory alive for decades.
Yes, decades.
Right, so picture this.
Okay.
October 28th, 1943.
1940.
The USS Eldridge, a Navy destroyer escort,
Destroyer escort.
docked in Philadelphia. World War II is raging.
Oh, yeah.
Allies are racing
Against the Axis.
to develop new technology.
New tech.
Radar is still brand new.
Super new.
And the idea of making a ship invisible to radar,
Oh, yeah.
that was a big deal.
Cute.
That historical context,
Oh, it's so crucial.
especially during wartime,
Yeah.
there's a lot of pressure to push the boundaries of silence.
Science and tech.
So maybe
possible.
that the Navy was experimenting.
Trying to make ships less detectable.
Okay, so we've got a wartime setting.
Check.
We've got the need for new tech.
Check.
And a ship
A ship.
that is about to become
Oh, yeah.
the center
The heart
of one of the most enduring
conspiracy theories
Yeah,
of
facts.
all time. This is like the setup for a blockbuster movie.
It really is.
And just like a movie, the story takes a turn.
A dramatic turn.
According to legend,
The experiment went haywire.
way off the rails.
Instead of just becoming invisible to radar,
Invisible to radar.
the ship completely vanished.
Poof. Just like that.
Some accounts even claim
Okay, now this is wild.
that it reappeared hundreds of miles away in Norfolk, Virginia,
Norfolk.
before zipping back to Philadelphia.
Flipping back.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Teleportation.
Like Star Trek.
Are we talking about Star Trek technology?
That's the big question, right?
That is the heart of the mystery.
The heart of it.
If this event even happened at all.
Right. If
We have to ask ourselves,
Yeah.
what kind of technology could possibly do that?
What could possibly achieve that?
Even today,
Even now.
with all our advances,
All our tech-
teleporting something like a warship,
a whole warship.
that just seems like science fiction.
Pure science fiction.
Right.
Yeah.
Even moving a small object a short distance
It's a full
instantly,
room.
that would be unbelievable.
Mind blown.
But disappearing
yeah.
and reappearing hundreds of miles away.
Hundreds of miles.
That's just crazy.
next level.
And it gets even weirder.
Oh, yeah. It gets weirder.
There are accounts that the crew
The sailors.
suffered terrifying consequences.
Terrifying.
Sailors allegedly fused with the ship's metal.
Fused with the metal.
Others experienced severe psychological trauma.
Oh, wow.
And some even vanished
Just gone.
without a trace.
No trace.
Okay, now this is getting disturbing.
Yeah, it is.
It's one thing for a ship to disappear,
a ship.
but for people to be affected this way,
Yeah.
that's unsettling.
It's seriously unsettling.
It really adds a layer of tragedy to this story.
It does.
And it makes you think
Yeah.
about the consequences
About the consequences.
of uncontrolled scientific experiments.
Yeah, uncontrolled.
So we've got a missing ship,
Check.
possible teleportation,
Check.
and some really spooky side effects.
Check.
So you'd think there'd be tons of evidence,
Fountains of evidence.
official reports,
Eyewitness accounts.
counting, and
That's where it gets interesting.
despite how popular this story is,
Super popular.
there's no official documentation.
None at all.
In fact, the Navy denies it ever happened.
Completely denies it.
Really.
Yeah.
But if something like this happened,
Something this crazy?
wouldn't there be some kind of record?
Some paperwork,
Something about the experiment,
about the tech.
the aftermath.
Yeah, the aftermath.
That's what makes this story so
It
fascinating.
really is.
It's a massive claim
a huge claim.
with no official support.
Zero.
So if the Navy says it never happened
Right.
and there's no record,
No paper trail.
where did this story even come from?
That is the question, isn't it?
Well, the main source,
As far as we'll
a
know,
man named Carl Allen,
Carl Allen,
also known as Carlos Allende,
2 names.
in the 1950s,
Back in the 50s,
Allen wrote letters
lots of letters.
to a researcher named Morris Jessup.
Morris Jessup.
And in these letters,
Oh, yeah, the letters.
Allen claimed he saw the Philadelphia experiment firsthand
Firsthand.
while serving on a nearby ship.
Another ship.
So we have one eyewitness.
Yeah.
That's something, right?
It would be.
Except for one thing.
One little thing.
Allen's accounts,
Yeah.
they're full of inconsistency.
So many inconsistencies.
And they tend to
They lean toward,
the highly improbable.
shall we say, improbable?
He described crew members
Sailor.
phasing in and out of existence,
Phase in.
bizarre electromagnetic effects,
Crazy effects.
and other things that
That just seemed to
defy physics.
defy everything we know.
So we have a story based on one witness
Just one.
whose accounts are
Let's just
a bit out there.
out there.
And we have the Navy
The Navy.
saying it never happened.
Never happened.
That's a pretty big gap.
It's a chasm.
And that's what keeps people so fascinated.
I know, right?
The lack of answers,
The mystery.
the possibility that something truly amazing happened.
Something extraordinary.
It's enticing.
It really is.
It's like a puzzle with missing pieces.
Yeah, like a puzzle.
And that's what we're going to explore next time.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see how the story has changed over time,
How it's evolved.
how pop culture has influenced it,
Pop culture.
and what it all tells us about human nature
About us.
and our fascination with the unknown.
The big mysteries.
It's going to be good.
Oh, yeah. You know, it's kind of like a game of telephone, isn't it?
The story.
Yeah, the Philadelphia experiment.
Totally. Like that game where you whisper a message around and by the end,
It's completely different.
exactly, details get lost, new ones get added.
And the story just gets more and more
Outlandish. And that's what's happened here
It seems like
with
it.
the Philadelphia experiment.
The early accounts focused on
The invisibility.
yeah, and the teleportation.
But over
the
time,
years.
it's morphed into something else entirely there.
It's taken on a life of its own.
So give me an example.
Okay, so
What kind of embellishments are we talking about?
well, some people say the experiment didn't just make the ship invisible,
Uh-huh.
but it actually tore a hole in space-time,
Wow.
creating a portal to another dimension.
Another dimension.
Yeah, like a portal.
Seriously.
Some even say the crew members who disappeared,
Right.
they weren't lost at sea.
No.
They were transported to another reality,
Or
even abducted by aliens.
aliens, come on. This is getting out of control.
I know, right?
It's like the Philadelphia experiment is a blank canvas
The blank canvas.
for people to project their own beliefs onto.
Their fears, their hopes, their anxieties.
Exactly. It's so vague.
So malleable.
You could mold it to fit any worldview.
Exactly.
For some, it's government conspiracies and secret technology.
Right.
For others, it's about the dangers of messing with forces we don't understand.
Like a warning sign.
And for some, it's a hopeful story about the impossible being possible.
A glimmer of hope.
And we can't forget about pop culture.
Oh, yeah.
Books, movies, TV shows.
Video
They've
games.
all taken this basic idea
This kernel of a story.
and run wild with it.
Added time travel, secret societies.
All sorts of crazy stuff.
Pop culture has a way of
Amplifying.
yeah, and distorting these stories.
Taking something that might have started as a rumor
A fringe theory.
and turning it
the
into...
cultural phenomenon.
It's like the line between truth
And fiction.
gets totally blurred. People
Complete.
grow up watching these movies about the Philadelphia experiment,
Yeah.
and they think it's all real.
They take it as gospel.
So how do we separate fact from fiction?
Ah.
How do we get to the truth?
It's like peeling an onion.
Oh, yeah, an onion.
Every layer you peel back.
You get a different version of the truth.
Exactly.
So why do you think people are still so fascinated by this?
I think it speaks to something deep inside us.
Deep inside us.
This desire for wonder, for something more than just everyday life.
More than just the mundane.
Yeah.
And the Philadelphia experiment with the teleportation and all that.
The otherworldly phenomena.
It taps into that.
It really does.
I think we are wired
Hardwired.
to be fascinated by the unexplained,
By mystery.
by the possibility that there are things out
that
there.
we don't understand. Forces we can't even comprehend.
Yeah.
And then there's the whole hidden knowledge thing.
Oh, yeah.
Secret government projects.
Exploring the edges of what's possible.
The fringes of science and tech.
It makes you wonder what they're really up to.
What secrets they're hiding.
Like, they're not telling us everything.
The truth is out there.
Yeah, exactly.
And let's be honest.
Okay.
Teleportation, invisibility, time travel.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool stuff.
Super cool.
It's the ultimate freedom.
Breaking the chains of reality.
Transcending our limits.
Who hasn't dreamt of teleporting to a beach somewhere?
Or visiting another time.
The Philadelphia experiment gives us a glimpse of that.
Even if it's just a story.
A glimpse of what might be possible.
Maybe.
But there's also a darker side to this, right?
Oh, absolutely.
The crew members,
Yeah.
the ones who suffered those horrible side effects,
Right.
it's like a warning
A cautionary tale.
about unchecked ambition.
Unchecked science.
The dangers of messing with things we don't understand.
The unintended
What
consequences.
makes you think
Really think?
about the ethics of it all?
The ethics of science.
Our
To
responsibility.
consider the consequences.
So here we have a story that's
But-
factually shaky,
Yeah.
scientifically dubious,
Uh-huh.
and yet
And yet,
utterly compelling. It's a
Totally.
reflection of us,
of humanity.
our hopes and fears,
Our anxiety.
our curiosity about the world
and the universe.
makes us question everything.
What we believe.
What's a possible?
What it means to be human. And the story itself.
Yeah,
It's like a...
a Rorschach test.
Yeah.
You see what you want to see in it.
Exactly.
Some see government cover-ups.
Right.
Others see the power of the human imagination.
Or a warning about technology.
And that's what makes this so fascinating.
It's not about the answers.
No.
It's about the
The
questions.
questions this raises
About ourselves.
about our place in the
The
universe.
limits of our understanding.
Wow, we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
We've looked at the claims, the evidence,
Or lack thereof.
and how this story has resonated.
For so long.
But before we wrap things up,
Yeah.
I'd love to get your final thoughts.
Sure.
What should our listeners take away from all of this?
It really is.
The Philadelphia experiment.
Yeah.
It's like its own experiment
On what?
on human belief.
Oh, that's a good way to put it.
What we choose to believe about this.
About anything, really.
It says a lot about how we see the world.
Absolutely.
Like a mirror.
Yeah, reflecting our
Hope.
hopes, fears.
All of it.
For some, it's proof of the
Big conspiracies.
Right.
Others see it as proof of
potential of the human mind,
to achieve anything.
even if it's risky.
So where does that leave us?
That's the question.
Should we just dismiss the whole thing?
As a tall tale.
Yeah. Or is there something valuable here?
Even if it's not true,
Exactly.
I think the value is in the questions.
The questions it raises.
Right, like with the Philadelphia experiment.
Yeah.
It makes you think about...
The limits of what we know.
Right.
The consequences of our actions.
Uh-huh.
The ethical side of scientific exploration.
All those big questions.
Like a giant thought experiment.
Yeah, a thought experiment.
Even if the events themselves
Yeah.
are...
Made up.
It makes us challenge our assumptions.
About what's possible.
Makes us think critically about the world.
Exactly.
It encourages us to embrace the unknown,
The mystery.
to consider different
To
perspectives,
be skeptical.
but also to hold on to that sense of,
Wonder.
yeah, that wonder.
Because there's still so much we don't know.
So much we don't understand.
About the universe.
About everything.
The possibilities are endless.
So what would you say to someone
Yeah.
who totally believes in the Philadelphia experiment?
Someone who's convinced
They see it as proof,
of government cover-ups.
hidden tech.
All that.
I'd encourage them to
Take a step back.
really look at their sources,
Look at the evidence.
to consider other explanations,
Be open to other possibilities.
because belief doesn't replace evidence.
Right. Belief is not proof.
Extraordinary claims.
Require extraordinary evidence.
And I think it's important to remember,
Yeah.
people are naturally drawn to mystery.
To the unknown.
The stories we tell,
Even the ones that aren't true.
they help us make sense of the world,
Absolutely. They help us process things.
they connect us,
Inspire us.
and they challenge our ideas about reality.
And the Philadelphia experiment.
Even if it's just a
They've
legend.
done all of that.
Well said. So, to our listeners out there
Yeah.
who love the unexplained,
The mystery.
the conspiracies,
The intrigue.
keep exploring,
Keep asking questions.
keep thinking critically,
Don't just accept everything you hear.
and remember,
Yeah.
the most fascinating mysteries,
The really good ones.
they don't give you answers,
No.
they lead to more questions.
Deeper questions.
The pursuit of knowledge is a journey.
Not a destination.
That's a great way to put it.
Thanks.
Well, that wraps up our deep dive.
Into the Philadelphia experiment.
Thanks for joining us on this journey.
Into the heart of a conspiracy theory.
We hope you enjoyed it.
We did.
Until next time, keep exploring the world
With an open mind.
and a healthy dose of curiosity.
See you next time.